Welcome back to the Comfee Mug channel. My name is Christian, and my subscribers and I delved deep to discover what makes Arcane's characters look so iconic, and how we can use these insights to create striking characters of our own. So put on your welding goggles, leave a like and subscribe to the Comfee Mug channel on your way in, and let's jump straight into it. All of these characters, except for this guy here, are from Arcane, but this guy is a Space Marines, a Warhammer 40k, and after I talk about their design elements, we'll move into designing my own armored characters, the design choices that I made for this character, as well as the lore I think you might find a little bit interesting. Let's get into it here. If we're coming from Arcane, one of the strongest looking characters, in my opinion, is this guy right here. I think that his stature kind of speaks for itself, but when thinking about the design choices that they made for his clothing, his armor, we have very sharp edges, right? And a very basic design for the chest plate itself. All of these ridges, no rounded edges, but on his gauntlets, we have pretty much only rounded edges, which is an interesting choice in my opinion. And I'll talk about why this is a significant choice a little bit later on. Another design choice that they made for this guy is he has armor, but he's also very exposed. Very exposed, no shoulder plate. I know it's like the design choice of rule of cool, but if this guy were to get in an actual fight, his armor would not be very practical. So the design choices that I want to make for my characters would be a combination of cool looking as well as practicality. Oh, and yes, by the way, this is Krita. It's free software, not sponsored. I use it for pretty much anything painted or design wise. And I have a download link for that, as well as 2 affiliate links for the drawing tablets I use when designing characters. So make sure to check out those links in the description. We can move over to Darius, his original design. He's got a very cool design, but he's got the same flaws as Mr. Bulk over here does. Great name, by the way, H. Bulkane. Oh no, that's gonna be the new thing. Instead of Egg Cane, it's gonna be Bulkane. It's like where every character has the Giga Chad filter on. That's the new theme now. But yeah, this guy is very Bulkane, but he does have the design flaws, which they fixed a little bit of in his newer design. In his original design, he's exposed quite a bit. I know that in Hollywood and other movies, having plate armor or having a full suit of armor is usually just for looks, just to make you look cool. Hollywood likes to think that armor can just be stabbed straight through, like it's paper thin. That is very much not the case. If a sword were to hit armor plate, it would just bounce off. That's what it was designed for. So Darius, he's very exposed. He's got some massive shoulder plate armor here, which shoulder plates are the symbol of strength. Chest plate, I mean, it does the trick for showing strength, but shoulder plate armor is really what protects most of the body. When you're turning in, you kind of put your dominant shoulder forward to protect yourself more. And so whenever there's armor or whatnot, I think shoulder plating shows strength. In my opinion, the more rounded a character's armor is, the less imposing it looks. But if you have sharp designs like these little spikes here, that shows, in my opinion, hostility, right? So there's a difference in, like, let me show you here. Roundedness is fluid, sharp angles are more rigid, and then sharper points are hostile. So another word for strong could be like confidence, right? So in my opinion, I think that the roundedness of Darius's design kind of takes away from his imposing look, even though he has a very confident build, right? But then they do kind of make up for it with the spikes. But they changed his design to have a lot more rigidity in his Welcome to Noxus style. He also still has those spikes. The only rounded aesthetic that they kept with him is his shoulder plates, and they also kind of masked that curve with the point up here to gain more of that hostile look. They also added a different sort of kneecap design as well as shin guard, but this is an inward curve, right? It's not going out. So it's interesting. Going out like this, right, is pretty soft. It has a lot of flow to it. But if you invert that curve, then you're creating a shape that allows you to have 2 sharper points on the end, right? And that's exactly what they did over here. So even though this is an inward shape, it's almost like elegant, right? But it's also hostile. I like his redesign. The issue still is that he's exposed, right? But I mean, rule of cool, this guy, he's awesome. His design looks fantastic, so not too worried about it there. His chest plate is incredible. Very Berserk-like, just has the sort of confidence that you would hope for his original design. Don't get me wrong, I like his original design, but his newer design looks a whole lot more confident, imposing, and dangerous, which is what we want from a character, a warrior, of his stature. This guy, he's the pinnacle, at least in my opinion, of practicality and rule of cool. And the reason for that is he has the more rigid shoulder pads, but he's also got this little neck brace. My dad actually had a really interesting thought about this. He works out quite a bit. He's a very muscular guy. He told me that in working out, your chest shows strength, then your back shows confidence. That stuck with me for a really long time, particularly in character design. I can have a character, think like Gaston. He's very strong, showing his strength by puffing out his chest. So a character that always shows you their chest is trying to prove that they're strong. They're not displaying confidence, they're displaying pride. A character who's showing their back, however, is a character who's confident, right? He doesn't have anything to prove. He has confidence in his ability, so he's not concerned with a threat if he's able to turn his back on the danger. Another very great thing about this guy is that he's completely plated up. His design combines rule of cool with practicality. The Space Marine characters kind of break all of the rules that I have for designing imposing characters and armor, because almost all of their armor pieces are very round. But what they lack in imposing armor, they gain in just how tall they are and how they operate as teams. If you guys have seen some of the animations, like the Astartes animation, then you guys will know that how they move is complete business. And so they get away with, in my opinion, having all of these more rounded shapes to them. This armor is based on takes, you're saying, H? That's awesome. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense as well. And I think that leads us perfectly into the design for my Praetorians. So speaking of tanks, these characters in particular, for the lore, they have to be completely kitted out, completely protected from any sort of magic, because that magic can pass through any material besides the stone-like material that they coat their armor in. The Praetorians in my film series, Banner of Souls, are very rigid in their ideology, very much against anything magic. All of the Praetorians have to constantly have their armor on while they're outside of the very heavily protected walls of their main city. And that's just because magic is so prevalent in the outside world, and their military force is so hated by everyone who uses magic that they can be attacked at any point. And so I need to individualize the different Praetorians so that people can know who is who while you're not able to see their face. So for my patrons, particularly in the Elder Mug and the Magic Mug tiers, I'm going to ask you guys for your own signet ring design or something to indicate who is who, so that the different Praetorians can identify each other on the battlefield. So I'll make a post on Patreon and put that link in the description so you guys can submit your designs soon, if it's not up already. And I want to say thank you so much to all of my patrons who support my channel, especially my Elder Mug members. I can't wait to see your design ideas. And speaking of designs, the information in this video is only a fraction of the stuff we talked about over on the stream together, going over prioritizing silhouettes. So that's generally the priorities as far as silhouettes go. Styles of different animated shows. I grew up watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars. They would have been the first animation studio to achieve the Arcane look. And my most important tips in animation from my stop motion years. So you can check out the free VOD in the description below to get many more insights. Remember to comment to let me know if you agree or disagree with my takes on character design. And if you want to learn a tip that'll improve your painterly style models in Blender, then you can check out this video right here.